Okay, guess we're ready. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. During the declared emergency in the City of Toronto, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and a provincial order that limits attendance at public gatherings. This will be a virtual public hearing, and participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using the WebEx, an online event that is being moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. I want to announce that we are in our 1:30 p.m. session, and this session will be dealing with items 14 to 27 as indicated on the agenda. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting either by their computer, a phone, or a tablet app. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered participants will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called on to speak. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territories of many nations, including Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw that applies to a property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. In receiving a copy of a decision of the committee, anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of that decision, you must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the TLAB or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal, the OLT. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. In terms of the hearing procedure, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. In terms of making your submissions, where an application is uncontested, the agent or the applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or the agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or the agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee of the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those who are entitled to receive the notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or in opposition of the application will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or the agent have an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will be then taken into committee for a decision. For our session right now, which is the 1:30 p.m. session, we are dealing with items 14 to 27. We have dealt with the minutes of the last meeting. I will ask if there are declarations of interest of panel or staff for items in this time slot. I see none. I do not have a conflict for items within this time slot, but I do have it for the next session, and I will declare my conflict in that session. Madam DST, are there any requests for deferral for items 14 to 27?
Through the chair, staff have not received any written requests for deferrals for those items scheduled for the 1:30 p.m. session.
Thank you, Madam DST. So there are no items or requests for deferral for the items within this session. So I will begin vetting of the agenda. I will start with item 14 being the first item for this session. Item 14 is 12 Harewood Avenue. And I would like to know if the if the owner, I believe this item will have to be held because there's a neighbor in registered. So members of the committee, item 14, 12 Harewood Avenue, we have a registered speaker, the neighbor who wants to speak. So I will hold down the item for this application. So this is item 14 for 12 Harewood Avenue. It's being held. Madam DST, did we get clarification on item 15 for that resident?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
The resident identified is not going to be speaking to item number 15, but will be speaking to, I believe it's item number 21.
Thank you.
121 Preston Street. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam DST. So moving to item number 15, 1407 Military Trail. And this is an application to construct a rear second floor solarium addition and a new ground floor, and there are two variances. There's one variance. And we have Simon West as the agent. Simon, are you with us? Hello, Simon. Simon, we see that you're online, but we can't hear you. Can you say something, sir?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you very much.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, Simon, we are we're vetting the agenda right now, so I just wanted to make sure you're there. I will now turn over to the committee members. Committee members, any questions or comments for Simon West for this application? I see none. All right. So, Simon, and any comment at this time before I take the matter into committee?
No, I mean, you have the proposal in front of you.
Okay.
I have letters which I've submitted to the staff regarding the two neighbors on either side that they are in agreement with the addition.
Okay.
It's a second story addition solarium with a ground floor rear deck addition.
Okay, thank you, Simon. For record, I would say we have two signatures of support from the neighbor on each side of the subject property. And we had received, I believe, clearance from TRCA, and there's no permit requirements. Members of the committee, if there are no questions or comments for Simon, may I please have a motion? And I believe there are no conditions of urban forestry. There are no conditions. All right, so Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, there are no conditions attached, and I would move the motion for approval of item number 15 and without any conditions.
Okay, thank you, Member Said. May I have a seconder, please? Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I will second that motion.
Thank you. Member Macaulay seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried and the application for 1407 Military Trail has been approved and there are no conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we now move to item number 16. Item number 16 is 2416 Eglinton Avenue East, and it's to permit interior alterations to an existing commercial building, and we have one variance. And we have Mehdi Ajwand.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. We also have the owner, Lalita. Are you with us, Lalita?
Yes, I am here. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the committee, any questions or comments on this application at this time? I see none. All right. Mehdi, would you like to say anything before I take the matter into committee?
Yes, it is very straightforward application. We are proposing to use the second floor of existing commercial building as a residential, while there is another residential unit over there, and it is very common on all other neighbor like 24, 14, 12, and 20. And it used to be just a medical office, and we want to change it as a residential. We believe that it's very minor, and we're asking just for one variance for that.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Members of the committee, if there are no questions or comments, can I please have a motion? Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of the variance for 2416 Eglinton Avenue East for the 2 additional residential apartments.
All
There
right,
are no
thank you.
conditions.
There are no conditions? There are no conditions, okay. May I have a seconder, please? Member Said, please go ahead.
I second the motion for approval.
All right, we have a seconder. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. Application for 2416 Eglinton Avenue East has been approved and there are no conditions. Thank you.
Thank you.
We now move to our next item. This is item 17, and item 17 is 25 Alfreda Boulevard. Do we have Imran Khan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions for Imran at this time? This is an application for second-story addition over an existing dwelling, and we have 3 variances. Any questions or comments? All right, and just want to make sure there are no conditions. There are no conditions from Urban Forestry. Imran, before we proceed, any comment at this time? Okay, I don't know if he heard us. Members of the committee, if there are no questions or comment at this time, can I please have a motion? Member Macaulay. Member Macaulay, you appear to be muted.
Sorry, I'll try again. Madam Chair, this is a variance, and there is a parking space partially in the front yard that is existing. However, transportation services are satisfied with that parking space and believe that this application is appropriate. Therefore, I recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member Taylor.
Madam Chair, I'll second the motion.
All right, Member Taylor seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. Application for 25 Alfreda Boulevard has been approved and there are no conditions. Item 18, 51 Harewood Avenue. And I believe we have the applicant or the agent, Roman, with us. Hello?
Hello, yes.
Oh. You may want to mute your other devices if they're also streaming the hearing, please, because we're getting some feedback. Okay, so this is an application for minor variance. It's a new 1-story addition at the rear of the existing dwelling and garage, and we have 6 variances before us. We have a staff report from community planning, and that recommends that should the committee approve the application, they're recommending a condition. Roman, are you aware of this staff report, and have you read the proposed condition? Roman, could you please mute your other devices? Hello? Roman?
Yes. Can you hear me now better?
I can hear you now, but I hope you've muted all your other devices.
When I did, I cannot hear you. So
Okay, can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Have
I mean,
you
I
read
can
have
see,
you
but you,
have you read the community planning
yes,
staff report, and are you okay? Do you have any question or concern with the proposed recommendation?
yes, but no questions.
So you're okay, you're satisfied with the recommended condition?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions? All right, if there isn't any question, may I please have a motion? Member Taylor, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I believe the requested variances meet the four tests under the Planning Act. And I move approval subject to the conditions requested by the Community Planning Department.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Is there a seconder? There's no seconder for this motion? Okay, so we can't do this. We have to either second, or we have to give the applicant an opportunity to, if there are concerns with this application, then we have to hold down this item and come back. Member Macaulay.
Madam Chair, I have one or two questions for the applicant since we don't have a full approval. Let's hold this item down and I'll ask my questions at that time.
So that's why I always ask, if there are any questions or concerns, let me know so that we can hold down the item. So the motion, because we had a motion on the
I
floor.
apologize for not
Yeah.
speaking up.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. It just, okay, so the motion, I guess, is redundant now at this point, can't do anything. So Roman, we have to hold down this item and come back because committee members have some questions for you. So no decision has been made on this application yet. We are holding down this item and we will come back to it and discuss it further, okay? And could you please look into your audio issues because it's certainly, we can't hear you. All right, item 18 for 51 Harewood Avenue is being held for further discussion. Members, please let me know in advance before a motion's on the floor going forward.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. I just want to remind. I know it's a long agenda, so we sometimes get caught up, but I just want to just remind. Item 20, sorry, no, item 19. Item 19. Item 19 is 2 Graylee Avenue. And this is an application to construct a first-story rear addition, and we have before us one variance. We have the applicant, Eliza, with us.
Yes, hello, Madam Chair. Hello.
All right, we can hear you. Thank you. And we have the engineer, Ahmad. Hello? We can, Ahmad, we can see you're there, but we can't hear you, which is fine until, if there's a question for you, then we'll try to get in touch. Members of the committee, we have this application before us. Any question or comment on this application? Any concerns? Okay. All right. Eliza, before I take the matter into committee, any comments that you would like to make?
Are applying, please, to add 4.97 square meters to the permitted maximum lot coverage. It is an existing deck right now, so we want to enclose it and to have a kitchen there. So it's from 33% to that which is allowed to 34%, please.
Okay, thank you, Elisa. All right, thank you. We take the matter into committee. Members, this is indeed a very minor variance application. So if I can have a motion on this one, please. Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of this variance. It's definitely very minor, but still necessary that we go through the process, and it's appropriate what they are asking for.
Thank
Therefore, I recommend approval.
Perfect. And just want to make sure if there's any condition. There are no conditions. Okay, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I second the motion for approval of item 20, and there are no conditions.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? And the motion is carried. The application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We now move to item 20 on this agenda. Item 20 is for 10 Whitecap Boulevard. And this is an application for new 2-story detached dwelling with integral 3-car garage, and we have 8 variances. And we have a long list of speakers on this application. So we will hold down this item and come back to it. So item 20 for 10 Whitecap Boulevard is being held for further discussion. Moving along, item 21. Item 21 is for 121 Preston Street to construct a new story detached dwelling, and we have 4 variances. We have with us the agent, and I believe the speaker is in opposition. Madam DST? It doesn't say what the status is.
We're unaware of their position at this time, so you may
Wanna check.
wish to
Yeah.
check with her.
Thank you. So, can I have Mr. and Mrs. Eric Cervantes online, please? Mr. and Mrs. Eric Cervantes, are you with us? Hello? Eric? Mr. and Mrs. Eric Cervantes, are you with us? We're having quite a few today. Mr. and Mrs. Eric Cervantes. Okay, so I guess we, in the spirit of time, will continue moving. We will hold down this item and come back. And Mr. and Mrs. Eric Cervantes, if you're listening in, I believe there's some audio issues. Could you please look into it? We will come back to this item and discuss it when you are back online. Item 22 is 9 Morrow Trail. And I believe there are the owners with us. So owners, we have Paul Stacy and Margaret Stacy with us.
Correct.
Thank you. Hello. All right, just bear with me, please. This is for 9 Morrow Trail to legalize and maintain the existing rear deck addition. And there is a staff report from community planning. Margaret or Paul, have you had a chance to look at the recommended condition and community planning staff report?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and do you have any concerns with the recommended condition should the committee approve this application with this condition?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you very much for confirming that. Members of the committee, any questions, comments, or concerns with this application at this time? I see none. All right. If there are no concerns or questions, may I please have a motion on this application? Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe the variances before the committee are minor, and agent or owner has accepted the community planning conditions. With that background, I move the motion for approval of item number 22, subject to the conditions of community planning report.
Okay, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member Taylor. All right, Member Taylor,
I'll second the motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So we, Member Taylor seconds the motion of approval. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application is approved, subject to condition of community planning staff report dated July 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you.
We now move to item 23. Item 23 is for 8 Parkview Heights. And this is an application to construct a new one-story rear addition, and we have for this application 5 variances. Ozran Stambuk is the agent. Are you with us, Ozran?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm at 1410 DuPont Street, Toronto.
Okay, thank you, Ozran. Just bear with us for a second. Members of the committee, do you have any questions for Ozran at this time? Any comments, any concerns with this application at this time? Okay, I see none. All right, Ozran, I'll take the matter into committee. Before I do that, do you have any comments to make?
No,
Okay, there are no comments. I take the matter into committee. May I have a motion, please? Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the motion for approval of item number 23, and there are no conditions for that approval.
May I have a seconder, please? Member Taylor?
I'll second, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? And the motion is carried, and this application for 8 Parkview Heights has been approved, and there are no conditions.
thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I will, thank you. 22 is done, 23 is done. We now move to item 24, which is the last item for this session. Item 24 is 147 Audrey Avenue. I do see there is a speaker who's registered to speak, so this matter is being held. Item 24 for 147 Audrey Avenue, Part 1 is being held for further discussion. That brings us to the end of the vetting of the agenda for the afternoon session of 1:30. I just want to recap the,
Madam Chair, I believe we have 3 more items,
we have more
25,
items?
26, and 27.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were we dealing with, oh, my apologies. I thought it was item 24. It was the last one. My apologies. Oh, I have to look at 2 lists now. Thank you, Madam DST, and thank you, Member Macaulay. My apologies for those of you listening. We still have to go through 3 more for this session. Item 25, 36 Craigley Drive. This is an application to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling, and we have 7 variances. For this item, we have the applicant and the agent. So can we have Jaise Raju Kenneth?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
Yes, you're there, Jaise?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here. Jay.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And we also have the agent Faisal Ahmed. Faisal, are you with us? He's not there? Okay. So Faisal is not with us, but we have the applicant Jaise Raju Kanath. Members of the committee, we have the applicant here. Any questions, comments, or concerns with this application at this time? Member Taylor?
Yes, we discussed earlier that there was an interest in removing variance number 7. And I'm just wondering if we can get the agent's confirmation of that.
That is a very good comment. So Jesse, I believe there's a request on this from you or your agent that the variance number 7 be removed. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so are you requesting that item variance number 7 be removed from this application?
Yes. You should be removed.
Okay, all right. So we have received confirmation from the applicant that variance number 7 that pertains to the front yard landscaping be removed. So that is being withdrawn. So the application has now been amended. Any questions, any further questions? Thank you, Member Taylor, for that clarification. I see none. All right. If there are no further questions or comments or concerns, may I have a motion, please, on this amended application? Member Taylor, please go ahead.
Yes, I'll move approval on the grounds that the 6 variances meet the 4 tests under the Planning Act. So my motion would be to approve variances 1 through 6. And there are no conditions.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member Macaulay.
Madam Chair, I will second the Member Taylor's motion.
All right. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application as amended has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome. Item 26 is for 2 Davidson Avenue. And we have a list of speakers that have registered to speak with us. So item 26 is being held for further discussion. Item 27, now this is the last one on the session. 85 Huntington Avenue. And do we have Patrick McAuliffe on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, thank you. So this is an application to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling, and we have before us 6 variances. Members of the committee, any questions, comments, or concerns with this application at this time? I see none. All right, Patrick, do you have any comment at this time before I take the matter into committee?
No, I'll be glad to answer any questions if there's any.
Thank you. All right, members of the committee, if there are no questions, comments, or concerns, may I please have a motion on this application? And I just want to check, there is an urban forestry condition. So Patrick, are you aware of that condition, and do you have any concern with that proposed condition from urban forestry?
No, I have no concern.
Thank you. Members of the committee, motion please. Member Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Patrick, for having an understanding about the conditions of urban forestry. With that, I move the motion for approval of item number 27, subject to the urban forestry conditions.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member
I'll
Taylor?
second, Madam Chair.
Member Taylor seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application for 85 Huntington Avenue has been approved with subject to condition of urban forestry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now I will just recap in terms of which items were held for further discussion for this session. 14, okay, so we held item number 14. Item number 18. Item number 20. Item 21. Item 24. And item 26. Did I get that right? Okay, thank you. All right, so we will start with the first item. Item 14. Okay, item 14, 12 Harewood Avenue. Can we have George online?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Just stay with us for a moment.
Okay.
Then we have Brett Liver, the architect.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. And we have Catherine Chu, the neighbor. Are you with us, Catherine?
Yes, I'm here. It's Catherine.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. Just hold there for a few minutes and we'll come to you. So this application that's before us has 6 variances to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling with integral garage and finished basement. So George or Brett, is there a presentation that you would like to make at this time?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So this is George. I don't have a presentation per se. Just to sum up pretty much at least the two major things that we're looking for is to expand the current floor to 43 square meters, and the setback, as well as the height to less than a meter. So those are the things that we're looking at. Like I said, we haven't done this before, so I'm not sure exactly. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if there's more technical questions, Brett will be more than happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions for George at this time or Brett at this time as it relates to the application or the variances? Member Said, please go ahead.
Mr. George, there is a condition of urban forestry. Hoping you are aware of that. You acknowledge it.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that's great. Any further questions? I see none. All right. Moving along, let's have Catherine online, please.
Hi, this is Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. Could you speak a bit louder or maybe increase the volume of your audio?
Is this better?
A little better. It could be better.
Okay. I'll try and speak directly into my device if possible.
Okay.
Is this clear?
This is much better. Please carry on. You have 5 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. So good afternoon, Committee of Adjustments. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. As mentioned, my name is Catherine Chu. I'm at 14 Harewood Avenue, the adjacent next door neighbor to the proposed development at 12 Harewood Avenue. I have some speaking notes that I'm reading from. I just wanted to note that I'm not reading directly from my submitted letter to respect the speaking time frame. If the technician could please present page A1 of the applicant plans, I'll be using 3 pages from the
Ali?
applicant plans just to highlight
Okay.
while I'm speaking.
So sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, Catherine. Which one would you like to be put up?
First, page A1 of the applicant plans.
Page A1 of the applicant's plan, okay?
Yeah.
That's the one right there?
No, that, if you could go, I believe it's back up
It's a
to the very beginning of the document.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very beginning of the document. It's just to show, okay, I'm sorry, I don't know the page number.
That's
but
okay. If you can go to page 557 of the PDF, maybe?
Yeah, the first one, but I can continue on in any case because I'm just talking to these pages.
Let's get to the right page first. Give us a minute. Just give us a few seconds. Here.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to keep respecting the time frame. That's all.
Go up. No, it's okay. I'll give you the time. This is the first one, Ali. Can you go further up? Just one more up. Is there one more? One more? I believe this one. Is this the right one?
I'm having trouble seeing it, but does it show?
This is not.
I just wanted to demonstrate. Yeah, this doesn't look like the right one, but I just wanted to demonstrate the alignment.
This is not the right
one. Abutting houses. It's
this
neighboring houses.
This doesn't seem to be the right one. It should be the Harewood Avenue. This is Military Trail.
Madam Chair, I think she's looking for page 556.
Yeah, right there, right there.
This appears to be it.
Yes, this is the one.
This appears to be it. Thank you.
Okay, so you have 5 minutes, Catherine, now, so please go ahead.
Thank you. So looking at page A1 here, I could just point out that the current existing home's front wall is currently aligned. The next door abutting home, which all the surrounding homes on the street do line up to as well as to the permitted front yard setbacks. But the new proposed garage and porch will come substantially more forward into the front yard setbacks compared to the neighbors' homes. And it breaks up the line of vision along the street from the view of the neighboring homes. So I'd just like to point that out. Now, if the technician could please present page A6 of the plans. Right. Thank you. So here we can see on the right side of this page, visually, because the proposed home doesn't align with the front yard setback of the homes on the street, this will significantly impact neighboring homes, sightlines up and down
Sorry,
our street of our
Catherine.
own property.
Sorry,
That-
Catherine.
yes.
We could
Yes?
not hear you. It was very choppy.
Okay, I'll repeat that. Here now. So
No, no, we can't.
on page A6 of the right. How about now?
We can't hear
Is
you.
better?
No, it's breaking up quite a lot.
Hello?
Are you
Is this better now?
are you signed in through one device only?
Okay, is this better?
Yes, it's better, but once you start talking, it gets interrupted.
Okay.
So I would just recommend that if you have other devices on, could you just either mute them or turn them off?
I muted, is this better now?
This is better now. You can carry on. I'll let you know if it becomes choppy again.
Okay, thank you so much. So on page A6, I'd just like to point out on the right side of the page, you could see visually, because the proposed home doesn't align with the front yard setback of the homes on the street, this will significantly impact the neighboring homes, sight lines up and down our street from our own properties. This proposed setbacks variance of the garage and porch will interrupt and cut off street views of the neighboring homes. And the proposed architectural feature wall protrudes and encroaches even further forward, 1.65 meters into the front yard setback. If the technician could please show A7, the next page. On the left side of this page, I just wanted to further highlight the architectural feature wall will impede on outdoor views of the neighbors' enjoyment of their own property by blocking the street views in both directions on either side of the feature wall. There is no other property on the street or in the neighborhood like this, which would be out of character for the neighborhood. So lastly, my last point, I just wanted to point out too, on the dwelling height of the building, with the requested variance being taller than the permitted height, this would result in a proposed home appearing to overshadow and stand out above and over the surrounding homes. And the concern is this will dwarf the appearance of the neighbors' homes. So it's for these reasons I've just highlighted that I'm asking Committee of Adjustment to reject the requested variances and the homeowners and architect revise the plans to comply more closely to the bylaws so it's not as impactful to the neighbors and to align in appearance and style of the neighborhood. Thank you. I have no further comments.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. Appreciate your comments. Members of the committee. Ali, can I have the screen back, please? Members of the committee, any questions for Catherine at this time? I see none. All right, thank you very much, Catherine. We will now go back to George. And George, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. George,
Yeah.
so you heard the concerns of the neighbor. Would you please respond to the concerns that were raised?
I don't know how to respond technically. I thought it's within like reason. The height is 0.8, so I thought it was within reason. Maybe Brett can give you more detail, technical answer, as well as the setback is 160 centimeters. So I'm not sure how, for the Committee of Adjustment, how big that is, but that's what we're requesting at this time. So like I said, maybe Brett can give you a more detailed technical answer. That's pretty much from what I understand the issues that we have.
Sure, I can. Brett, would you like to respond?
Sure. I would offer if, in regards to the front yard setback and the sight lines drawn up and down the street, if you go up and down Harewood, these three houses, 10, 12, and 14, are pretty much the ones that are furthest setback on the entire street on their side. Number 4 was forward, number 8 is forward, number 20, 22, 26, and 30 are forward of these three houses. So I would say it is in keeping with the neighborhood, maybe not the immediate adjacent neighbors, but it is in keeping. And in regards to the height, we looked at many of Committee of Adjustment results, and we are well within what's been approved in the past. I would say 0.85 meters is really equal to about 32 inches. And I don't know that 32 inches is going to dwarf any building in any shape or form. Other than that, I would say the front yard setback also, when looking at the zoning certificate, the zoning review, it talks about the setbacks of adjacent buildings and minimum of 7.67, but then they take their minimum front yard setback to the garage and porch. So our garage and porch is 6.02 meters. And when looking at the neighbors, because I have the grading plan, I have the AutoCAD file, the neighbors, they're only 6.45 meters away. So we're talking maybe 14 inches difference between looking at equal things, looking at porch and garage. Main walls pretty much still in line. The porch and garage is forward, just as the adjacent neighbors are as well. They're at 6.4 meters on one side and 6.8 meters on the other side to the porch. So I think what we've put forward and presented is well in keeping with what's been approved in the past and with the streetscape of this specific street.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Brett, for that. Members of the committee, any questions for Brett at this time or for George? Any comments? All right, I see none. All right, thank you very much, Brett and George and Catherine. If there are, before I take the matter into committee, any closing remarks, George or Brett?
Not for me.
Okay. All right. So we take the matter into committee now. Committee members, any discussion, any comment on this application? I see none. All right. One thing I believe I forgot to ask of the applicant was that if he was aware of well, I guess you did, Member Said, you had asked about the condition. Okay. All right. So I think we know that the applicant does not have any concerns with the urban forestry condition. We heard them, we heard the neighbor. If there are no comments or discussion, can I please have a motion? Member Macaulay.
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of these variances. I believe the variances are minor. We're talking a couple of inches in one case, a foot in another, or a meter in another case. Given the scale of development on that street, I believe that these minor adjustments fit into the character of the street. Therefore, I recommend approval of this. There are conditions of urban forestry.
Okay, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member Said.
Madam Chair, I second this motion for approval of item number 14, subject to the urban forestry conditions.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? And the motion is carried. The application has been approved, subject to condition of urban forestry. Thank you.
Grace, here we come. George?
You can mute them, right? Okay. The next item that was held was item 18, and item 18 is 51 Harewood Avenue. Am I correct on that one? Okay. So can we have Roman with us, please?
Oh,
Hello?
hello? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Could you speak in a bit louder, please?
Now it's better?
It's
Hello?
better.
Now it's
It's better, yes. Can you
Okay.
hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
Okay, all right.
thank you.
Just try to speak loud so that we can hear you. It's a little faint, but it's working for now, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I understand that some members of the committee have a question or concern. So members of the committee, would you like to have a presentation from Roman, or would you want to dive right into the questions? Member Macaulay.
I think we can dive right into the questions. If the applicant can explain why he needs such a large garage. He's got a garage on the property, and then he's proposing to add another garage. If he could explain the purpose of this. And that is what I believe is creating his coverage of 46% versus 33%.
Yes. Okay. When we bought this house 18 years ago, we had 2 cars. Now all my kids grow up, and we have 6 cars, and it's really crowded on the driveway and doesn't look good for neighborhood. That's why I would like to build a garage and put a house in the garage so we can keep at least 3 cars in the garage. Hello?
Yes,
Hello,
yes,
thank you.
we're listening.
We were just
Carry
looking at
on.
the plans here. So the purpose of the extra garage is because you've now got 6 cars.
Yes, all my kids are driving now, and we have so many cars, and doesn't look good on the driveway, and doesn't look good for our neighborhood.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that explanation.
Okay, all right. Any further questions on this application? Ali, can I have? Member Said, please go ahead.
Mr. Roman, is this the reason you explained for the lot area coverage? Is the reason for the length of the building is also because of the same reason, where the length is going up to 25 meter?
So I cannot hear you well.
Okay, I will repeat my question. This is about variance number 4, where the length of the building is you're asking for 25 meter as against 17 meter. So my question is this much length, what's the reason of asking for this much length? Is the same reason which you explained earlier for the lot coverage?
So
yes.
Go ahead, Roman.
I'm not sure if I understand this question because I couldn't hear very well, but I believe the question was about lot coverage.
No, so if I can just clarify, Roman, the question is pertaining to item number 4, which is the building length. So what member Said is asking is that additional length being triggered as a result of your garage that you're asking, the longer garage depth that you're asking for?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it's the overall building length, member Said, as I'm reading the plans, overall, including the garage, that is what the length of the building is.
Yes, the garage is more to the back than the building, as you see on the plan.
Ali, could you please pull up the site plan that shows the building length, please?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it would be the one after. The one after this one.
I
No,
think
sorry.
one on the
Another
top.
one, another one, another one. Keep going, sorry. You just passed the one. Right there. You see that? That entire building length, the top length, all the way from one end of the building to the other end. Which is a little confusing because this is shown on as a proposed boat garage.
This is going to be one garage, so this garage will be extended.
Yes.
So it's not going to be two garages. Just one garage will be we propose tandem garage, like longer garage.
There's something not right about the plans here. Maybe staff can help me with this. So where does it show on the site plan the length of the building? This is a foundation plan, so I want to see the length of the building.
I think that the first drawing on the top probably.
That one?
Yes, Madam Chair, it shows on that figure A3 that the length of the building is from the front of the house all the way to the very back of the proposed boat garage, and the number is 25.88.
Okay, all right. There it is.
So
Okay.
the existing is 18, and they're adding, I believe, 6.75. So long building.
It is a long building. Is it this one?
This one, yes, that's the building, yes.
This is a survey
Lot
plan.
A 282.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
And A3.
Yeah, we got it. Okay. So it's 18.92 to the existing garage, and then the extension is adding another 6.7, which is altogether 25.74. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Saeed, as you can see, that it's accumulation of the existing building and the proposed addition that's causing the building length to be 20.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got it. Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
you.
Thank you very much. Any further questions for Roman at this time? Okay, I see none. I do see now that the community planning has recommended a condition that should the committee approve this, that it be tied to the plans, so that building length is only for that portion of the building, and hence that recommended condition. Yes, Member Macaulay.
Yeah, I was just going to make sure that we have clarification that the community planning conditions would only allow that building to be used as a garage and not an extension of the house.
That is for a proposed garage. The plans will be tied once they go for the building permit application. I'm sure the plans examiner will look at that information from the tied plans. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Before I take the matter into committee, Roman, are there any closing remarks? Okay, I don't know if Roman's there. Roman, are you there with us? Okay, members of the committee, we must take this matter into committee now and make a decision. Member Macaulay.
Madam Chair, I am prepared to recommend approval of this variance application, subject to the community planning condition that ties the approval to an extension of an existing garage as shown on the attached plan.
Okay, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member
I'll second,
Taylor.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member Taylor seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? And the motion is carried. The application for 51 Harewood Avenue has been approved, subject to condition of community planning staff report. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item that was held was item 20. And this is 10 Whitecap Boulevard. And we have a list of speakers with us. And we also have received a petition. So 10 Whitecap Boulevard. This is an application to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling with integral 3-car garage. And we have 8 variances before us. Let's start with the registered speakers. We have the owner, Michael Shears.
Yes, I'm here. Can people hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well. Thank you, Michael. Just stay online with us. Then we have the agent, Arjang Behisht.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair. Arjang Behesh from Homeland. And Madam Chair, Michael Shears is actually one of the opposition members. He's not the owner of the property. Just wanted to clear that up.
He is not in...
He's one of the... No, Madam Chair, I beg your pardon. He's one of the members in opposition to the proposal.
Oh. Okay. All right.
I believe he's residing at 6 Whitecap Boulevard.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks for clarifying that. So Michael Shears is not the owner. He is a member in opposition. Okay. So Arjang is the agent, and he clarified that. And then we have Don Walker, the registered speaker. And then we have...
Present.
Thank you. David Wolfman.
Present here, yeah.
Thank you. And we have Naomi Toyajic.
I'm here. I'm not speaking. I'm just reviewing.
All right. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And we have John Smee.
I am present.
Okay, thank you very much. So thank you very much. Just stay tuned. We will come to you in a few minutes. So we will start with the agent on this application, Arjang. Would you like to make a presentation, or would you rather dive right into the questions from the committee?
Yes, please, Madam Chair. If I could, I'd like to make a short 5-minute presentation to explain the variances.
Please go ahead. You have your 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. My name is Arjang Behesh from Homeland at 49 Wycliffe Crescent, and I'm joining you with Mr. Hamid Behesh, the principal designer of the project. To begin my presentation, if I could please ask committee staff to kindly display slide number 1 of the presentation package, which was sent to committee. Thank you very much. Now, I'll begin by explaining the increased GFA of 0.42 from the required 0.4, which has been in large part triggered due to the definition of the GFA itself, which calculates the size of the home subtracted by any void spaces and subtracted by, quote, the area of required parking spaces in the building, and in addition to C, they are used for 1 additional parking space. Now, because the required amount of parking space is 1 only, a maximum of a 2-car garage was subtracted in our case, and because the home has a 3-car garage, a portion of the garage was calculated as livable space and included in the gross space area. Now, if I could please see slide number 2, we can see the impact of the extra building height. Because the home has a contemporary transitional design, you see, with a low sloped roof, with a slope of only 4 to 12, the part of the home which actually passes the bylaw is at the very middle of the roof, at the small portion marked in pink. When you consider a mid-year 45-degree average angle of the sun, highlighted by those 2 arrows in yellow, the impact of a shadow and a block of sunlight to the immediate neighbors is virtually non-existent when you consider only the portion of the home which has surpassed the bylaw in height. If I could please see slide number 3, you'll see the increase for side wall heights, which is increased by just 14 centimeters over the bylaw and is represented by the very narrow stripe you see in red. It really is very minor and unimpactful. Next, if I could please see slide number 4, I will speak to the increase in balcony size. The sizes as allowed by the bylaw are highlighted in blue, and the portions which have surpassed the bylaw are highlighted in yellow, which themselves, in our opinion, are minor. But specifically at the front, the second floor portion of the home is actually pushed back from the first floor and is actually smaller than the first floor. It's pushed back when you look at it from the street. So the extent of the first floor and its canopies are highlighted there in pink and are there by law. So no matter if the balcony sizes are increased or not, the shape of the balconies will not be seen because the second floor is actually set back from the first floor. And finally, if I could please see slide number 5, I'll speak to the driveway and landscaping. Now, because the property is more than 200 feet deep, in order to achieve a better proportion between the front yard area and rear yard area, the building is pushed slightly further back actually from the front yard setback, which is represented by the line in red, the front yard setback. And the driveway, with a longer driveway and its circular portion, it has caused the overall landscaping to be reduced. However, the green space, importantly, the soft landscaping, is not reduced by the bylaw. And we believe that a larger front yard is more beautiful from the streetscape, from the people walking on the street. And additionally, the width of the driveway, which is listed at 8.7 meters wide, is only that wide at the building itself to access the third car garage. The driveway actually starts at only 6 meters wide, which is allowable by law and by transportation, from which we have their support. And interestingly enough, it actually gets even narrower while it reaches the circular portion, the middle of the circular portion. It actually gets narrower than 6 meters at that point and starts getting wider after that point up to the requirement that's listed on the minor variance. But that's my presentation. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Erjang. I think your presentation was quite descriptive. I love the colors, and it really expresses the proposal well. So appreciate that. Members of the committee, any questions for Erjang at this time? Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Thank you. I was trying to follow this and got lost a bit in the numbers. Can you explain why the floor area is, the proposed floor area is 526 and doesn't comply with the zoning bylaw?
Right. So if we can turn to slide number 1, the definition for GFA, the GFA of the home will be reduced by areas of void spaces to a maximum of 10% of the entire area of the home, and actually will be reduced by usually livable space. Garages do not count as livable space, so it will be reduced by the number of garages. However, the required number of spaces for parking in this specific area is simply 1, just 1. And in item D of the definition of floor area, you can have an additional space taken away from the GFA. So that will be a total of 2 car garages taken away from your GFA, while we have a 3-car garage inside our home. That third car garage portion, as well as a little bit of storage in the garage and a little pieces of void areas, which are spaces which are open to above from the first floor and not accessible on the second floor, those areas have been calculated as part of livable areas in our GFA. That's why the GFA is slightly increased from 0.4 to 0.42 in our case.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions for Erjang? Okay, I see none. Well, thank you, Erjang. Hang in there. We will now speak with the neighbors who have registered to speak today, and then we'll come back to you. So the first speaker that we have on the list is Michael Shears.
You can hear me okay?
I can hear you well. Please go ahead. You have 5 minutes, Michael.
Thank you. Greetings, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Michael Shears. I'm the registered owner of 6 Whitecap Boulevard. And thank you for the opportunity to speak at this public hearing, because we're fortunate to live in a city to be able to go through a process like this where neighbors' perspectives are heard and considered. I've been away since mid-June and only just returned last Saturday, so the deadlines did not enable me to file a written letter of opposition nor add my name to the many other letters of opposition. Nonetheless, I would like the record to read that I am opposed to the 10 Whitecap Boulevard application and have serious concerns about this proposed development that are of public interest. I'd like to highlight 2 concerns. The first matter relates to privacy. I purchased the property at 6 Whitecap because of the privacy, specifically in the backyard. As you can see from the plans, the placement of windows and balconies in the proposed development at Whitecap, particularly on the high second floor, may make it possible for an occupant in the new white home at 10 Whitecap to see into my and many other backyards. I would like the property owner at 10 Whitecap to be aware that I consider the backyard at 6 Whitecap to be private property and do not permit views or photos of my backyard without my express written permission in advance. I am prepared to consider alterations or appropriate year-round screening, either soft or hard landscaping, and to work with either the owner of 10 Whitecap or the city to ensure mutual privacy is protected. On the second matter, notwithstanding the allowable maximum permitted floor area of 0.4 times the lot area, a home even the size of 5,700 square feet and 2 stories is over double anything else on this street. The plans and its variances show at least 4 bedrooms, plus a nanny suite, plus a guest suite, plus a gym, plus a theater, plus a games room, plus a recreation room, and a party room, with a walkout to a pool that appears to be not part of this application. It has 9 bathrooms, 2 laundry rooms, and at least 4 separate kitchen bar areas. Hardly a single family dwelling in keeping with homes that are on this quiet bungalow street. I realize monster homes are creeping into the area, but I would advise that I have reason to believe the municipal services, in particular the available water pressure, is insufficient to support this type of development on this street. I would ask that the municipal services be confirmed as adequate prior to the issuance of any variance permission or building permit, especially municipal water pressure. The person that buys this home will be phoning the city to complain, and more complaints will follow. So I realize that progress is inevitable, but I do advocate that it be in harmony with the environment and sensitive to the current use of the land and available sustainable resources. This proposed development is beyond what is already generously permitted. It is for this reason that I'm opposing the application and asking for confirmation that the municipal services, particularly water supply, be verified as adequate for this type of development on the street, or alternatively, the proposed development sized to the available resources. Further, that appropriate adjustments plans to be made or screening be required, either on the property at 10 Whitecap or on other property owners of the other adjacent owners at 10 Whitecap's expense, sufficient to maintain the privacy of mutual backyards. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Michael. Your comments have been noted, and I'm sure Jung will be able to answer those when he gets his turn. Members of the committee, any questions for Michael at this time? I see none. I just want to make sure, as part of the review of this application, the applications are circulated to all departments. And if there were any concerns with the municipal services, I'm sure it would have been forwarded to us as part of the comments package, and we have not received it. So I'm pretty sure that the engineers or the engineering department have looked at it, and at least they have not raised any concerns with us. But rest assured, I mean, through the building permit process, those things will be examined and looked into in more depth. And this is certainly beyond the jurisdiction of this committee, so I won't be able to answer, what the pressures are like, what the municipal services are like. But I'm sure the right department will look at it at the right time. Next on the list is Dawn Walker. Can I have Dawn, please?
Yes. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee. Thank you for the opportunity. Hope you can hear me okay.
I can hear you very well, sir. Please carry
Thank you.
on, and you have 5
All right.
minutes.
Yep, my name is Don Walker. I'm the executive director of Mary Center, which is a nonprofit agency that supports people with disabilities. And we have resided at 8 Whitecap for the past 30 years. And we have the privilege of supporting 4 individuals currently at 8 Whitecap. Certainly, I've worked within human services for the past 40 years and know that, neighborhoods can be uncomfortable when something new is coming. As my colleague or neighbor said, it's inevitable that there's going to be some change. And I want it made very clear that my comments are directed towards the structure and certainly welcome the addition of new neighbors. Our neighborhood is a very diverse community reflective of Scarborough, and we certainly support appropriate development that maintains respect for our neighbors and the environment. However, we feel that this proposal has, with its multiple excessive variances, is certainly being built at the expense of neighbors. The current street consists of large, generous lots that certainly allow for the residents to build large, beautiful homes while staying within the bylaws. I wanted to focus my comments on 3 variances, number 2, 3, and 5, and I'm requesting if attachment number 5 from the letter written by Naomi could be put on the screen.
Sure. Give us a moment, please.
Yep. Yep, that's it. Thank you. What you see here is our location at 8 Whitecap, and then the proposed drawing for number 10. Certainly with the height, it certainly is much higher than the current location that we have, which is approximately 4.3 meters, and the proposal is for 9.5 meters. With the present setup at the front of 8 Whitecap is a bedroom. And certainly for the person sleeping there with a disability, looking out their front window will have part of their view of the street blocked by the existing build that could occur. We also have two windows on the north side close to number 10, one of which is a bedroom and one of which is a staff office. And given the windows and the potential patio, there's certainly a bit of a concern about privacy that we will lose under these circumstances. That is not an area of concern now. I certainly, appreciated the comments about the roof from the initial presenter. As you can see with the vehicles that are there, my concern is not so much about the sunlight, but certainly in the wintertime with the buildup of snow and potential ice, that could result in some damage potentially to vehicles. The pathway that you see in front of the white vehicle leading up to the side, as we have people with disabilities and one person who is in a wheelchair, that is an emergency exit in case of fire. And so I am concerned that if there is snow and ice damage, could that result in some impediment to us if we find it necessary to vacate the house in an emergency situation? Certainly, as can be understood, this dwelling is certainly not keeping with our neighborhood that consists of some back splits and bungalows, and certainly the sheer height and size and magnitude of the proposed building would appear out of place for the existing character of it. In respect to variance number 5 and the platforms, I echo what the neighbor at 6 Whitecap spoke about in relation to privacy. With the windows that are on the north side that I mentioned earlier, one of them being a bedroom, we do have the necessity to provide some personal supports to people, to the one person who resides in that room. And as much as we can attempt to ensure that blinds are closed, et cetera, we now, as I mentioned earlier, have that concern about privacy. Also with the size of the patio, particularly at the rear, going out into the backyard, unfortunately, as one can well imagine, people with disabilities have a fairly long history of being shunned by the community. And having that size of a balcony and the potential number of people, again, I worry about the privacy and perhaps the stigmatization of people looking and observing their neighbors who are a little bit different than themselves. So worried about that a little bit as well.
Don, sorry, I hate to
Yep.
interrupt. I hate to interrupt, but your time's done, so you may want to do your closing remarks, please.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
If the Committee of Adjustment sees fit to approve these variances, I would like to echo what our neighbor at 6 Whitecap said in relation to privacy and working with the owners to ensure that our privacy is respected. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great comment, and I'm sure Arjang will be able to respond to the comments that you've raised. Our next speaker, members of the committee, any questions for Dawn? I see none. Thank you. Next one, David Wolfman.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you, sir. Please go ahead. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, committee members of adjustment and staff. My name is David Wolfman. My family and I have owned and lived at number 2 Whitecap for the past 10 years. It has come to our attention that the owners of 10 Whitecap Boulevard have submitted a proposal to demolish the existing dwelling and construct a much larger home. We'd like to express our serious concerns with the proposed development application. We appreciate that these homeowners would like to improve their property, and we are very happy when residents undertake improvements in our neighborhood. As a matter of fact, we've made numerous upgrades to our homes, such as replacing our windows, or even our front door, and landscaping, and have had numerous neighbors compliment us on our windows and our doors. So we definitely approve improvements, and we encourage others to do so as well. However, the scale of this proposed home, in the terms of the height, the driveway, the garage width, the recreational platforms, is completely out of place on this street. In our opinion, this proposal does not satisfy the purpose intention of the official plan as expressed in policy 4.1.5. Quote, development in the established neighborhoods will respect and reinforce the existing physical character of each geographic neighborhood, unquote. We reviewed the drawings, proposals, and application documents and have concerns that there are many variances generated by this application which will neither benefit nor contribute to the prevailing character of this neighborhood. The proposed home would be materially bigger than all of the existing houses on our streets. There are no two-story houses on Whitecap Boulevard. All of the houses in the street are one-story ranch bungalows, with the exception of one house which has, or appears to have, a split-level addition in the rear. This new house would simply tower over immediately adjacent homes. The proposed height not only exceeds the bylaw 569-2013, but will also tower over the existing fabric of our neighborhood. The front yard lacks adequate greenery and landscaping and fails to meet the zoning bylaws by 13%. The garage would be 30% wider than allowed, and the driveway would be 45% wider than allowed. I've reviewed zoning notices and fully agree that the zoning examiner and the development would not be keeping with the applicable city zoning bylaws, and in reality, we doubt it possible to design a house more unsuitable or more odds with this neighborhood. The proposed development does not fit into the prevailing character of the neighborhood and the fabric of our community. Each of the 9 variances allowed in the notice are overwhelmingly rather than minor, and it is clear to us as the owners of this property that we make absolutely no attempt to conform to this official plan. This application does not satisfy the intent or the purpose of the official zoning plan or zoning bylaws, and will have a serious impact on those of us who live on Whitecap Boulevard. Moreover, allowing these variances would set a dangerous precedent. We join our neighbors who respectfully request the Scarborough Committee of Adjustment members to refuse this application, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much, David, for your time. Members of the committee, any questions for David? I see none. All right, thank you. I believe Naomi had indicated that she's here as an observer only, so I will skip, and I will go to John Smee. John, you with us?
Yes, can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Go ahead, and you have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Before I begin, Mr. Darush, would you please put up attachment 2 from Naomi's letter? Thank you. My name is John Smee, and I have lived at 9 Whitecap Boulevard since 1997. I am also appearing on behalf of the Cliffcrest Scarborough Village Southwest Residents Association. I will be speaking to variances numbers 1, 7, and 8 against the bylaw. Our street is somewhat unique in that Whitecap Boulevard is a cul-de-sac with 16 single-family dwellings built in the early 50s, none of which exceed 2,000 square feet. While many of our lots are very large, the existing built form consists of homes with gross floor areas less than 2,000 square feet. Mr. Darush, would you please put up the graph of allowed GFA and zoned FSI from Naomi's letter, please? I draw committee members, I draw your attention to the exhibit on the screen. The applicant is asking to build approximately a 6,000 square foot home. The applicant is proposing a very wide driveway and large garage doors. I draw your attention to official plan policy 4.1.5, Development in established neighborhoods will respect and reinforce existing physical character of each geographic neighborhood, including in particular prevailing heights, massing, scale, density, and dwelling type of nearby residential properties, prevailing location, design, elevations relative to the grade of driveways and garages, continuation of special landscape or built form features that contribute to the unique physical character of the geographic neighborhood. The proposed dwelling size is more than 3 times the existing dwelling and will not fit into the prevailing massing on Whitecat Boulevard. The proposed driveway width and garage door width does not fit into the prevailing character of Whitecat Boulevard. I respectfully submit that this application fails the mandatory test of meeting the purpose and intent of the official plan. I also respectfully submit that the proposed development fails the test of delivering a new dwelling that represents appropriate development for lots on Whitecat Boulevard. Mr. Darush, would you please put up the petition? Thank you. Committee members, 95% of residents in the neighborhood when asked opposed this application. The only one who did not sign, who was asked, was the home builder who owns and rents out number 12 Whitecat Boulevard, and he wished to remain neutral. Thank you for your attention on this matter, and I ask committee members to refuse this application. Respectfully yours, John Smee.
Okay, thank you, John, for your time. Members of the committee, any questions for John? Right, I see none. Thank you. I believe that there's no other registered speaker here, so that was the last one. All right, thank you, everyone. Can we have Arjang back, please?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
So Arjang, you heard the comments. I think a lot of speakers very eloquently described what their concerns were. I think John kind of highlighted the ones in particular he was concerned about. So I hope you've taken some good notes. And would you start responding to them, please?
Yes, of course, Madam Chair. Before I begin my rebut, though, I would very much appreciate it if committee staff would kindly hold my 5-minute time for this, because based on the things that we've heard from the neighbors, I've spoken with my team, and in order to reach some sort of mediation, I would like to make some reductions to the application. Specifically, number 8, our immediate neighbor at number 8 Whitecat Boulevard, highlighted number 2, 3, and 5, variances number 2, 3, and 5. I would like to completely remove variance number 2, Madam Chair, regarding overall building height.
Okay, so just go a little slow on us. We want to make sure we're capturing everyone. So you are withdrawing variance number 2?
Yes, regarding overall building height.
Okay.
Which technically removes also variance number 3 regarding overall building height again.
Correct. So variance 2 is being withdrawn. Variance number 3 is being withdrawn.
Yes, the height was mentioned many times by the speakers today and also in their letters of objection. Despite the height being just 50 centimeters over what the bylaw allows, we felt that it was minor, but in order to achieve this mediation, we would be okay to remove those variances.
Okay.
And also, Madam Chair, the issue of privacy was raised many times. The only variance I see which could potentially impact the privacy of any of the neighbors in terms of the variances that are before us and in terms of the things that we have to speak to would be the enlarged balconies, the 3 enlarged balconies, each of them being enlarged slightly over the bylaw. So, Madam Chair, I will remove variance number 5 completely. All 3 balconies will conform to the bylaw.
Okay, so the balconies will be there, but they will conform to the bylaw.
Yes, because the variance is regarding the increase in balcony size.
That's correct.
Each side of the building is allowed to have 1 balcony, which I will remove that variance. Variance number 5 will be removed.
No, understood. Yeah. So I think it was important to make that distinction that platforms are allowed, except that you're withdrawing all these, this variance number 5, and that you will conform to the permitted size of the balcony in accordance with the zoning bylaw.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. So so variance number 5 is being removed.
Yes. So variances 2, 3, and 5 are removed. So if I could begin my rebut, Madam Chair, I would like to ask committee staff to kindly display presentation number 6 of the presentation package. And in terms of the character of the neighborhood, while we wait for that map to be displayed, number 6, thank you very much. So this is the neighborhood of Cliff Crest. In terms of the character of the neighborhood and the built development we see being developed there progressively, what we see in red, I apologize, the 2 homes in green have been approved for 3-car garages. The 2 homes highlighted in red have been approved for a 3-car garage and extra building height. But most importantly, the rest of the homes highlighted in blue have been all approved at the Committee of Adjustment for 3-car garages, extra building height, and extra GFA, not including other approved variances specific to each application. So if we can turn to slide number 7, we can see, based on those approvals, that the average building height approved would be 9.64 meters. And we had requested a height of 9.5 meters, which has since now been removed. The average GFA is 0.47 in a required zone of 0.4. So just the way we are, not requirements higher than ours of 0.5, but requirements of 0.4, the average would be 0.47, while our proposal is simply 0.42. It's much less than the approved average, and again, due to the calculation on part of the garage as livable space. In terms of 3-car garages with wider driveways, we see many such examples in the Cliff Crest neighborhood, such as on slide number 8, slide number 9, slide number 10, and slide number 11, just to name a few. Now, regarding the driveway and landscaping, if I could please see slide number 12, we have imagined that our building, on the top diagram, we would imagine that our building is located right at the required front yard setback line in red. At that point, the landscaping would conform to the bylaw requirement because the definition of the landscaping is calculated as a percentage or ratio of the front yard. So if our front yard would be smaller, that ratio would be in our favor. On the other hand, at the bottom, you see the current proposal with the house pushed back beyond the front yard setback with a total landscaped area of 2,108 square feet, which is actually much larger than the otherwise conforming situation at the top, which would only have a total landscaping of 1,550 total square feet. Now, if I could please ask the committee to display the letter represented by Naomi, which was mentioned many times by the opposition members. If I could please have that letter in front so I can speak directly to it.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
It's coming up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. While that's being presented, the letter is by Ms. Naomi Tolchik, who's a member of the Cliff Crest Scarborough Residents Association. And if we please turn to page 3 of the letter, the diagrams which were presented by the members, the opposing members.
This one?
Here, yes. Here, we are extremely, honestly disappointed by how our application, specifically the driveway, which is contested, and the landscaping, is misrepresented by these diagrams. During my presentation, Madam Chair, I explained how the driveway begins at an allowed 6 meters wide, gets narrower in the middle, and only reaches its full width at the start of the home to reach the 3rd-car garage. At this diagram, Ms. Tolchik has presented the driveway in black at 8.7 meters wide for the entirety of the driveway from the front of the property to the beginning of the home. At the bottom, the diagram changes, but still misrepresents the proposal. The circular portion of the driveway, in reality, is an outer ring, which is only 3 meters wide, with a huge 530 square foot amount of green space in the middle. That's the reality of our proposal. But Ms. Tolchik has shown the entire area as one big black circle. So on either diagram, Madam Chair, one gets the impression that the vast majority of the front yard is going to be black concrete, while in reality, our proposed green space or soft landscaping is actually surpasses the minimum requirement of the bylaw. If I could turn to page 4 of the letter, the chart which was mentioned many times. Madam Chair, this chart actually, I would argue that it works in our favor because the line that we must look at is the allowed GFA in the area of Whitecap Boulevard and actually in the area of Cliff Crest as a whole. You see that out of the 16 houses on Whitecap that is mentioned there, if we look at the allowed GFA, 12 of the 16 homes have an allowed GFA, which is actually higher than our proposal. If any of those homes were to develop their homes, which undoubtedly in the near future will be developed, they will be actually bigger by law, allowed by law, will be bigger than our proposal. So if any of those homes wish to build their home on Whitecap Boulevard themselves, the allowable